Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let me tell you what, you know, we joke about going down rabbit holes and stuff like that. Already 2024 feels like we're literally living in the rabbit hole. I mean, the things that well, I got to admit, it makes getting up to do videos a lot more interesting, and trust you me, it'll be very interesting, especially in DAIXRP.com, where we're going to talk about, you know, that island guy and the rabbit holes around that. We'll go, I don't want to get stuck in the rabbit hole. I'm a little concerned, but whoa. And I'll tell you the bizarre, the scary, you name it, we're living through it right now. It's really unbelievable. One of the shining stars, in my opinion, is Circle. Look at this from Jeremy Allaire. Circle had $779 million in revenue in the first half of the year, already surpassing $772 million for all of 2022. The private firm generated $219 million in adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization in the first half, also outpacing the $150 million for all of last year. The company has over $1 billion in cash on its balance sheet as of June. I know another company that has over $1 billion on its balance sheet, or did. We shall see, folks. Link2 is one of my sponsors, and I am putting money on to there here in the next day or two for the purpose of buying Circle and or Ripple private equity, and that's what I'm planning to do. They're out of both right now, but I think that they'll be getting more on the platform. Now this I love because I so agree. This is something that's not talked about enough, okay? eGrad Crypto had done this XRP 40 times easy. Last cycle, despite the pesky SEC lawsuit, XRP surged almost 20 times. This time, with its unparalleled legal regulatory clarity, the potential for 40 times or even 50 time boom seems promising. Let's crunch some numbers from the cycle low to visualize the possibilities. I want to get to this. This is to me, this is what's important. Remember, folks, 2017-18, there's a reason, all the reasons that you and I know XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created, all of those reasons are the reasons that XRP outperformed. It was when there was an actual free market, and the government and all the people trying to prop up Bitcoin and Ethereum, they had not actively, near as much, gotten involved in trying to prop Bitcoin and Ethereum up to the detriment of all the other digital assets, to put all the others in a category of altcoins and put Bitcoin and Ethereum in this fake category of being somehow superior, when it was all a lie. We know that now. Well, the lies continue even to this day. With, you know, now what they've got hung around Ripple's neck is, oh, well, yeah, you are the only only digital asset that has legal clarity that you're not a security, but it's still on appeal. In other words, as long as Gary and his friends keep the thing in a lawsuit, you still got this hanging over your head. Whereas what they should be saying is, well, Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin, they met with Homeland Security. There's 4 Satoshis. There's your central figures that created the thing. So that could be a security easy. Then you got Ethereum, of course, disguised whales. There's all kinds of Ethereum. Shoot, those guys, I'm surprised they haven't moved to another country. Maybe they have by now, but I mean, that thing's been blown to smithereens as far as I'm concerned, that whole narrative. But the point I'm trying to make here is, imagine when there was a free market before January 2018, which digital asset did the best? XRP, because the market knows. It's easy to figure this out. But when the market's being manipulated with SEC lawsuits against one company while you let the others go, when they've done 10,000 times worse than what XRP, Ripple, or whatever been done with XRP, we'll see what happens. It creates a dislocation. The markets are not real. What you're seeing is not real. And it's been that way for all these years. And they all know it. That's why they can't ever address ETHgate or any of this stuff. But the overall point I want to make is, look no further than what Bitcoin and Ethereum, the lesser technologies than XRP, the lesser products, look at what they were able to do when they had all of those advantages. Comparing with ETH's previous cycle multiplier of 58 times, XRP 28 cent could reach an astounding $16. Even if XRP were to match Bitcoin its previous cycle multiplier 21 times, it could still climb to $5.88. The point is this, folks. There's 2 points, really. If we had a level playing field back in the last cycle, XRP, a level playing field, a real market, XRP would have destroyed these things. It always would have. That's why they had to hold it back. So this time's different in another way, though. This time, like Monica Long said, this time, now it's time for utility. So what does it look like when XRP has a free market and real utility, which neither Bitcoin or Ethereum really have either? Anyway, it could be 58 times could be a joke. We could be talking 100,000 times, depending on how much utility. Now, if there's one thing we've learned from the time I got in this in 2013, I have seen China try to manipulate the Bitcoin markets and hence all the rest of the markets for years now. So you'll remember yesterday, Matrix Port put out the report which spooked the entire market, and I immediately knew it was manipulation. I just didn't know how. Well, this guy, Paul Barron, looked into it.
Are the founders and all of the team over at Matrix Port, and of course Jian Wu right there again from Bitmain. If you go over to his LinkedIn, John G is the co-founder and CEO of Matrix Port, so you kind of get a frame of the team that's over there. And then a couple of tweets I want to hit on before we head out of here is Jian Wu.
You notice anything in these pictures? You remember BitDeer? We're going to show you. I'll remind you of BitDeer.
This is a new beginning for BitDeer. This is kind of relating back to their relationship to a publicly traded company that is, again, tied to the mining space to create sustainable value for customers, colleagues, and shareholders. This was back in April of 20.
Anyway, so I'm not. You don't have to watch the whole video. I'll summarize it for you. So Matrix Port, I heard enough when he was talking, and I was like, uh-oh. And I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, but what if the XRP, the CBDCs are bad and all this stuff? And I said, this was what my response was. I said, I've been in this since 2013. And I said, since that time, anywhere that there's transparency, anywhere where they're showing you what they're doing and they're doing what they're saying they're doing, you find XRP and you find Ripple. Anywhere where there's lies, there's disguised whales, there's Satoshi Nakamoto's who the government's supposed to not know who it is when they really do know who it is. Lies, money laundering. Anywhere there's any of those bad things, you find Bitcoin and Ethereum. Anywhere. And it's been that way since 2013. So I am working on the assumption that Ripple, hence XRP, are the good guys and all this other stuff are not. And this kind of leads me into that. Okay? So yesterday we have this Matrix Port. They put out this thing and it tanks all of the markets, drags everything down. This is why these kind of things are investment opportunities for me when I see the markets go down and I know it's manipulation. So anyway, this is Matrix Port right here. Look who their co-founder and chairman is, Jian Wu. That's the other thing you'll notice in crypto. Anytime you smell a rat, somewhere in there is China. Well, who's Jian Wu? Well, just so happens Jian Wu is chairman of BitDeer and co-founder of Bitmain and Matrix Port. And he studied economics and psychology at Peking University. You remember BitDeer? You remember Bitmain? Back when we were uncovering ETHgate, this was put out, I believe, by Jimmy Valley. This is a chart that shows all the way to China, all the way to the, three-letter thing, all the way to China. This is New Horizon. New Horizon owns BitDeer. Bitmain one of them was a spinoff transaction, but New Horizon owned Alibaba. Okay, Alibaba, of course, is where Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton helped them to take them public. Alibaba also owns Ant Financial, which China wanted. Ant Financial wanted to buy MoneyGram, remember? And Donald Trump rejected it, and then Ripple got a partnership with Ant Financial, or MoneyGram, I'm sorry. And then that's about that time, that's when all of the ETHgate and all that stuff was set in motion, folks. All this is run by the People's Bank of China, and they just happened to, I'm sure it was by accident yesterday, they knocked the markets down leading up to this ETF. I'm sure China didn't mean anything by it.
Lean toward BlackRock just because if we see a more wide adoption from an advisory standpoint at the institutional level, they're going to lean into BlackRock more, generally speaking. So I would say BlackRock would get the bill, would win that race there.
Okay, the SEC is holding meetings today with the exchanges. This was yesterday from Eleanor Terrett. Finalized comments. They're meeting with the NASDAQ, the CBOE, the NICE. All right. Then we had this, go figure. Wait, wrong thing. Well, a billionaire Jeffrey Gundlach is warning of a large multi-generational reset. A reset. Surprise, surprise. That's right. Then this is a real big surprise. You know that. Just in, Goldman Sachs is in talks to be an authorized participant for BlackRock and Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF. Who would have thought that Goldman Sachs would have been under that wood pile somewhere? Who would have guessed that? Then, the pizza boy, Anthony Pompliano, we've shown you who all these people are that are part of the narrative crypto media. They all carry the same narrative. They all get put on TV at the right times to make sure they promote the Bitcoin and Ethereum stuff. And now Solana, they've added that to their portfolio. So this is the second time in a couple of days, I think, that Pompliano, I think they put him in timeout for a little while because he held up those Bitcoin pizza boxes, but he's back. Let's see if we can get to this part right in here.
To approve spot Bitcoin ETFs. Joining us now with more on the various regulatory outcomes that could impact crypto trades, Anthony Pompliano, founder and partner at Pomp Investment. Anthony, good to see you this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So I have to just dial back. I go back to when the SPY was listed 30 plus years ago. I covered it then. The USO, the oil ETF, the gold trust in 04 and 06. There was never anything like this anticipation. We don't talk about ETF launches and who the authorized participants are. This is bureaucratic back office stuff. It's just how the trades function.
Well, we do talk about who they are when there is so much shadiness and there's ETHgate and there's been all this stuff that's where Wall Street has pretended like they're not involved in this when they really are, when they're behind it from the get-go. Yeah.
So all of which is to say the degree of anticipation of this and how it's made its way into the market is extreme. How is it not just a anticlimax when it happens?
Wall Street is getting invited in anticipation of the greatest show on earth, right? Bitcoin has been the best performing asset for the last 15 years, and Wall Street's basically been boxed out of it. They haven't had access to this asset. And so I think that's what you're seeing in that pent up excitement. One thing that I do caution these Wall Street investors is you can't trade this like other assets. We saw just yesterday about $1 billion of open interest got wiped out. The guys over at Reflexivity Research did a fantastic job outlining, saying, this asset in 2021 went up almost 800% from before the pandemic started to the kind of the top of the market.
Yeah.
During that time, there was 30% drawdowns. If you're going to try to get levered long and think that, hey, ETF gets approved and this thing just goes to the moon, you're likely to get shaken out or get liquidated.
That is really good advice. Just beware the volatility.
Well, the beware is, from my observation, is anytime, and you saw it yesterday, anytime they're like telling you, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing, I think it is going to be the greatest thing. It's going to bring in crypto, and I think we're going to have a really good year. But there's going to be a lot of manipulation going on around it because these guys, they're sitting there going, yeah, everybody's in anticipation. Looks like we need to float out some news to scare everybody, and we can really profit. And that's what I think was done yesterday. All right, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. We're going to start with Boring Sleuth, because this guy is like, he's been activated. This guy is like on fire in the last 24 hours. I've been seeing tweets. He's throwing some people out there, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? We're going to go into that. The island guy, all the stuff came out yesterday. We're going to go into, man, are we going to go down a rabbit hole there? And some of the most bizarre, creepy, and scary things. We're going to go through all of them, and it's like, well, what has happened to this country? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that away we go.